Hi everybody, thanks for waiting around for the last talk of the day here. My name's Colin Smith, I'm VPX with ValOre Metals. Today I'll be talking to you about our Angalac uranium project in the Nunavut territory, as well as our PGM asset in northeastern Brazil called Pedra Branca. We are a member of the Discovery Group, which is an alliance of 10 publicly listed, individually operating companies, diverse set of commodities and with projects all over the world. You're probably familiar with the Great Bear story. That was a recent exit from our group, purchased by Kinross for $1.8 billion. So a lot of great momentum from that within the group. Quick snapshot of our capital structure and team. We're built with an experienced and successful team of directors and management. We've got about $6 million in the treasury right now, and a heavy insider ownership. So we all own shares. We're all heavily invested in the success of this company. And a quick summary of some of the recent transactions by members in our group are summarized on the right here. ValOre is actually a spin-out from Kaminak, which was acquired by Goldcorp for $500 million after discovering the Coffee gold deposit in the Yukon. And here's a summary of our current asset portfolio. Today we'll be focusing on, again, Pedra Branca in northeastern Brazil, a PGM asset, and Angalac uranium property in Nunavut. Also worth mentioning that we have an ongoing strategic review process led by Canaccord Genuity, where we're evaluating opportunities for a potential spin-out. Most likely that will be the spin-out of the Pedra Branca asset in Brazil to make a pure-play uranium explorer in Canada. Okay, so we'll zip up your parkas, throw on your toques, and we're going to head up to the Nunavut territory, to our Angalac uranium project. And it's in an extremely active jurisdiction for mining and exploration. You can see, or maybe you can't see, but it's in fairly close proximity to the Meliadine mine, the Meadowbank mine, both Agnico Eagle operations, and a number of advanced exploration projects as well in close proximity. Historically, we've spent a little over $55 million exploring at Angalac, and that's going to be added to by about $11 million put into the ground this year. Further to that, there's a historical spend of over $30 million by previous operators. And a lot of that was directed at drilling the Lac50 trend resource area, which is illustrated by the red stars on the map. It's 5 zones over a strike length of about 12 kilometers, and hosts a 2013 43101 resource of a little over 43 million pounds at 0.69% U3O8. That actually makes it the highest grade uranium resource of scale outside the Athabasca, and one of the highest grade uranium resources on a global basis as well. You'll see in the next slide, which is a view of the block metal. It's quite expandable as well, both from a brownfields perspective, but also throughout the district at Angalac. So this is a view of the long section block model of Lac50, and you can see the grades are indicated in the top right. Anything red is over 1% uranium, and significant moly, silver, and copper in the system as well. And you'll see that the claims are strategically staked around the margin of the Anjikuni subbasin, which is a subbasin of the Athabasca. So we're able to drill this thing to surface, and it's been drilled down to a depth at current of about 380 meters vertical. So we don't have to drill through several hundred meters of basinal cover to get to the target depth. We're hitting this thing from surface. Further to that, I think one of the things that stands us out a little bit from some of the other junior uranium explorers is the fact we've done metallurgy. 95% recoveries in a very conventional alkaline leach that's in commercial operation in the basin as we speak. Further to that, we've done radiometric ore sorting, and the results are great. Over 70%, or over 97% rather, of the uranium can be concentrated in only 50% of the mass, so we can reject basically half of the waste material down the line. And you'll see, the arrows indicate areas of open plunge at depth. Again, we're really focusing to march along the structures as opposed to drill them off at depth, but there's lots of expansion down plunge as well. Now you hear the district scale buzzword thrown around a lot. This is why we believe this really is a district scale play at Angalac. A target called Dipole, which is situated about 27 clicks to the southwest on the opposite side of the Anjikuni subbasin. We drilled it in 2015 with 9 core holes from 4 pads. We hit significant uranium mineralization in these multiple stacked panels that you can see modeled by the red solids there in 9 of 9 holes. And you can see there's high-grade material as referenced by DP009 there. And it's been drilled between 15 meters to 150 meters true depth, fully open along strike in both directions and open at depth as well. We have the RC drill actually sitting and drilling at this target as we speak. We put out news a couple weeks ago about releasing the scintillometer results from the first 7 holes, and we're seeing much the same results as what we saw in the core holes. Stacked panels of high counts per second, and actually maxed out the scintillometer over 65,000 counts in one of the holes. So it's looking pretty good. And the middle image you see there is sort of a stacked view of the top being ground VLF-EM, which does a great job as highlighting these uraniferous structures that host the mineralization. Once those are defined, we run orthogonal soils across them, and that really helps us hone in on which sections of the structure are most prospective. And there's pretty good structural control in this part of the sub-basin, so we really just step down dip and drill the thing, and it's had great success so far. And it's part of the reason why you'll see in the next slide here a summary of our program that's ongoing this year. So the red area is the area of expansion for ground VLF coverage. You can see the blue tones are what we currently have. And in addition to that, we're going to be doing significant geochemistry to overlap with the ground VLF to further that targeting methodology that I described before. And in addition to that, 8,000 meter total drilling. Half of that will be core, half of that will be RC. Okay, so we take off the toque, lose the parka, throw on some Ombrel sunscreen, and head 4 degrees south of the equator to Pedra Branca project in northeastern Brazil. It's located in Ceará state, so you fly into the city of Fortaleza, which you see on the map on the left. It's about a 4-hour drive on your choice of 2 paved highways that go right through and to the project area, and actually one of them carries on to Brasilia. It's a large land package, just like Angelac. It's just shy of 60,000 hectares, and it hosts about 80 kilometers of prospective mineralized trend, which you see illustrated by the dashed red line. Again, heavy historical expenditure. Most of the $35 million was invested by Anglo American. They had the project for about 11 years, and we acquired it in 2019 and have put in about 6.1 since then. That was directed at a maiden 43-101 resource, which came out at a little over 1 million ounces, palladium, platinum, gold. So it's about a 2-to-1 palladium to platinum. And it's no equivalence, it's just a straight summation of ounces, and also for grams per ton as well. So first was the resource in 2019. We then built an excellent in-country Brazilian team, which supported about 17,000 meters of core and RC drilling over the past 2 years. And that supported a recalculation of the resource, which we released in Q1 of this year, where we doubled it to 2.2 million ounces, so 106% increase from the 2019. Great expansion potential, and one of the things we really love about this project is how shallow these mineralized systems are, and really sort of lends itself well to the targeting methodology we've developed as well. Quick perspective of one of the 7 deposit areas that comprises the current 2022 resource. This is the esparro deposit, and you can see it's a 3D oblique view of the optimized pit. We drilled esparro last year for metallurgical sample and resource continuity, and you probably can't see the intervals, but they're all starting from surface. The standout hole from last year was 77 meters and just shy of 3 grams from surface. And within that, there's an 8-meter interval of about 17 grams per ton starting at 30 meters depth. So you're really getting underground caliber intercepts at or near surface, and it's the case with all the 7 zones in the resource. They're very shallow. They're all starting at surface. They all typically have very shallow dips as well, so very, very low strips. And again, lends itself very well to our targeting methodology, where we sort of dusted off a tool that's very commonly used in Brazil, especially in the Amazon region, less so in North America, but it's called the Trado auger. And it's essentially a 4-stroke Honda engine. You can see it pictured on the right-hand side there, your left-hand side, I guess. It's a 4-stroke Honda engine mounted on top of a steel frame that rotates rods, and ultimately there's a 4-inch diameter auger bit. And so what that enables is a really quality geochemical sample from surface down into actually the top of the weathered bedrock undercover. So we get great geochemical data, but we also get an insight to the geology undercover in real time. So we use it as a pre-trenching, pre-drilling tool, but actually we also use it extensively during drill programs. If we want to, trace or map the subsurface intrusion that we're looking to follow, the Trado is really effective at that. Fits in the back of a pickup truck. We hired folks in the local community to crew it, and like I said, it gives you great real-time data and also great geochemistry as well. And this is just a quick view of one of the in-progress targets, and what you're looking at is a section of a trench. The blue traces, those are the traces of the Trado holes, or the auger holes. So they, you can't drill into competent bedrock, but like I said, you can drill into the weathered bedrock. And so you can see this is quite a good line of Trado holes. We subsequently followed that up with a trench. The numbers speak for itself, a really nice long interval. I mean, if this was the gold space, it would probably get a lot more traction in the market, but a high-grade interval over 25 meters as well. This has not been drilled by us. It will be drilled by us for sure. We're working 3 or 4 other targets just like this with the Trado and follow-up trenching. And it's a tool that we love. And I don't work for Trado, but if I did, I would be promoting it just the same. So it's great. So catalysts for growth this year, as I mentioned, Canaccord Genuity is engaged to review and evaluate different options within the spin-out of Pedra Branca, and really all options are on the table on that front. So that's ongoing and could absolutely create some value for shareholders. We doubled the resource in Q1 for Pedra Branca. We've got regional exploration on the go, and we're ultimately going to hopefully work towards a PEA starting as soon as possible, really. Further to that, the Angelac project is well underway. The RC drill is turning. The first release on that came out a couple weeks ago. And so it'll be steady news flow coming out of Brazil and from the Nunavut territory throughout the year. So thanks very much for sticking around, and have a great afternoon.